Welcome to Shift School. I'm your host, Lisa Costa. Class is in session. Let's make a shift. Welcome to Shift School. Today we have Kaia with us. I'm so excited to talk with you more, Kaia. Kaia's in Flagstaff, Arizona, and I met her in an airport in San Diego, which sounds weird, but it's not, I promise, as we unfold the story here. And then went down to Mexico and gave shoes to children and families and villages. So, Kaia, I'll let you kick us off. Tell us more about you, um, where you're at, what life looks like for you right now.
Yeah. So I am 23 years old and I actually just recently got married in
Okay.
September. So a newlywed. But kind of what I do for work is like you'd said, we met at an airport and the whole reason for that being is I lead trips for a organization called My 360 Project. So we lead trips. I do their communications, marketing, and yeah, we go take people to go experience what it feels like to serve children in a
Mhm.
different country. So there's a lot of things that come with that, but that's a brief little description of where I'm at, what I do. You said I'm in Flagstaff and I love living in my little mountain town. So yeah.
Yeah. Why shoes? What's the premise behind the shoes with My 360 Project?
Yeah. Shoes. So it was originally created by our founder, Daryl Carnley.
Mm.
He originally wanted to start off with a cleat. Sports was a big thing for him. And so the cleat was an idea. And we then transferred it to um, being an actual moccasin. So our shoe
Mm.
itself kind of looks like a little moccasin. And now we've just come out with a new slide. So now there's two variations of the shoe, but the
Mhm.
whole point of the shoe being built was to employ other people in country. So the artisans that we employ, they make the shoes. We source locally.
Mhm.
So that kind of is where the 360 part comes in.
Okay. And so the shoe, so you're making the shoes in the country, you're taking the shoes out. What is significant about the My 360 Project shoe?
Yeah, the 360 shoe that we have is a shoe that grows with the child's feet. So
Okay.
the back part of the shoe can extend
Mhm.
and then the front part can extend. So the child can
Mhm.
essentially have the pair of shoes for up to 2 years. And
Okay.
so what's really neat is we don't only just have our moccasin, we also have another type of shoe called the Art
Mhm.
Mocs. And that is a shoe that people can decorate, and it's a way for us to get the word out there and give people the
Mhm.
opportunity to serve, but maybe those that can't go on an actual trip with us.
All right. My children colored shoes, and that
Yes.
was really fun because then we sat there and, made our own little patterns and had our own
Yeah.
design. But the cool thing was, is I had an email one day that said, "Your shoes have been delivered." And I was able to show my children the children who received their
Yeah.
shoes. That
Yeah.
was really cool. And so all
Yeah.
the way over to Africa,
Yeah.
and they were able to see their shoes that they designed, they colored on someone else, deserving and needing for sure. That's
Yeah.
that's really awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. So here at Shift School, the
Mhm.
goal is that we learn different shifts that help us in life, help us be better people. And I say that for myself mainly because I always want to grow and be better. And I really believe that we should always leave things better than we find it. And so there's these little things that we can take along the way to help us think about life a little differently. So when it comes to the shift, what is something that has shifted in your life or that you think would be notable for our listeners?
Yeah, I think the shift when it comes to leadership, when it comes to service, I think the shift that was was the intentional shift. I think
Mm,
being actually intentional about creating that to be a habit and wanting to push yourself to do things that were uncomfortable, because I think that a lot of times the shift is the uncomfort, but that's the part that grows you. And I think that sometimes that's a little bit forgotten. I think people will tend to back off. If it's an uncomfortable shift, they're like, "Oh, I can't do this." But I think that's the part where you really get to see who you are as a person and how you can lead better, do better, grow.
yeah. What has serving people look like in your life?
Yeah. I felt like service, honestly, has been a large part of my life just with how my family was raised. We did a lot
Mhm.
of service through our church. And so that was a large part of where the whole idea of service comes for me.
Mhm.
But I would say, yes, in my church with my job and being given opportunities through both of those things to lead people in smaller groups too. So I think
Yeah.
that's where I get to serve the most. I would say community wise, it would be like Mexico and
Mhm.
Africa. I would say that I definitely need to work on serving more locally in where I
Mhm.
live.
Mm. Yeah. So for me, I think about leadership and serving. That's
Yeah.
really the heart of where I'm at and helping other people grow in those areas. And I really believe that to lead well, we have to take care of the people that have been brought into our life. And it's been said, I think almost every episode of my podcast is I believe we are commissioned essentially to fight for the highest possible good of those who we're responsible for. So, what does that look like for you when you think about the heart of serving, the uncomfortable shift? What does leading and serving look like for you?
Yeah, I think that leading in service is something that you have to really be intentional about
Mm,
because I think
mhm,
there's such a variety of people that you serve, and those people have different needs and
mhm,
may have a different outlook on life than you have. And so I
mhm,
think it's being able to be intentional in what is the right way to serve that person, what is the right way to lead that person,
mhm,
just because everyone's so different and everyone has different needs. And so I would say the intentionality behind that for sure is something I think about when leading and serving go together and
mhm,
acting that out. And
mhm,
then, yeah, I would say the heart behind it, you kind of had mentioned that there's, the heart in that. And I think that is kind of being able to identify with yourself where you're at
yeah,
when you feel that someone is leading you, right? When you're under somebody, when someone else is serving you and
mhm,
bringing that to the forefront, because then you can show up to the best possible ability, for other
mhm,
people. And I think it's
mm,
important to constantly reflect on even little acts of service that we receive too.
yeah,
And I think that helps us be better leaders, be better people that serve.
mm, I love that. I have had some moments as a leader. There were moments when I served and I had some incredible impacts of seeing the people that we were helping, especially in other countries, but also here in the US and even in my hometown. There's a really cool part though of leading someone else into that moment.
Yeah.
Have you had anybody on your trips that it was their first time, and what did that look like when they put shoes on a little kid for the first time?
Yeah, I the first thing that I come is it's such an emotional thing, and you have
Yeah.
to be there to actually really receive the
Mm,
emotion behind it because it is kneeling down. We do wash their feet. We do give
okay.
them new socks. We give them new shoes. And
Hmm.
so for me, secondhand, I've gotten to see now just the want to keep going. It's like you
Hmm.
sit there and it's the discomfort and you're unsure and you're like, wow, this is really not something I do day to day. But
Hmm.
then the more kids come and sit in front of you and you're like, wow, I could do this forever. This is just,
Yeah.
it's so fulfilling and so sweet.
Mm. And you've gone to Africa as well, right?
Yes.
Tell me about, I remember either talking or seeing a picture on your social of the children coming with no shoes. Like,
Yeah.
what have you seen in the moment where you've given a pair of shoes to a child?
Yeah. Yeah, in Africa, the need is so different than in Baja,
Hmm.
but there's still a need.
Hmm.
When you see a child come to you with no shoes and nothing, it really puts you back down on the level of just humility. I think that
Hmm.
sometimes we work ourselves up to think that we know what's best or we know everything. And so
Hmm.
when you see a child that a new pair of shoes, and it could be like a child for the first time,
Mm.
Actually, on one of my last Africa trips, there was a 7-year-old girl who had just received her first pair of shoes, and she
Oh,
was
7. Wow.
ecstatic. She was telling everyone she was so happy.
Oh.
And so I think it just really humbles you and
Mm.
makes you think that there is way more important things than just our little bubble of sometimes what we remember or know our life to be.
Yeah. Wow. I have two questions. So I'm going to ask the first
Yeah.
one and then I'll follow up with the second one. But the first one is a lot of people, I would not sure how many of our listeners, I would love listeners tell me in the comments if you've had this opportunity to travel overseas and help serve other people. Please tell us your stories. That'd be awesome. But I do know several in my life who are like, I don't know that I'll ever get to go
Mm,
overseas. So, what are some of those moments that you would suggest for them to be able to find opportunities locally to have that experience?
yeah. I mean, I feel like there are so many nonprofits where we live. I just think that there is, maybe not enough marketing, not enough people know. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that looking to see where nonprofits need help, because there is so many nonprofits that have other chances for you to give and to serve and to love the people, even if you can't go.
Yeah.
So that's what I would recommend is to look into where the nonprofits need help and who are the
Hmm.
people in those spaces that, because like I said, there's so many different projects and ways you can get involved with that.
Yeah. And so the second part of my question is how hard is it to go and do this? So what if they wanted to go give a pair of shoes? What would that look like?
Yeah, it is honestly super easy, and I will put in the link. It
Oh, good.
is
Okay.
my360project.org, and that is where you can go to find out all the different ways that we have that you can get involved.
Mm,
But yeah, there is trips and there are some available, and so that's where you go find out how you want to get involved, and we walk you through it. We walk you through from
mm,
beginning to
mm,
literally right before you're about to get picked up in either country. So it's
mm,
not something to be intimidated of or to be like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. We
mm.
That's what we're there for.
Yeah. Yes, I highly recommend it. That is how I met Kaia. I
Yeah.
signed up for my 360 project trip and met her in the airport in San
Yes.
Diego, jumped in a van, and we drove
Yep.
down through
Yep.
Mexico. But I had already been to Mexico before with multiple other organizations. So to me, it wasn't super scary.
Right.
I have heard of some people that are like, "Oh my gosh, what are we doing?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it. Just meet me in San Diego, and
Yes.
it's gonna be great. We stop and get
Yeah.
coffee on the way. There's still a Starbucks there.
Right.
You're good." Yeah, and then I was able to go to India with my 360 project last fall, and
Yeah.
wow, just it's just so incredible to take a moment and be able to see in the eyes of a little kid who's like, you came all the way here to give me a hug.
Yeah.
And how awesome that is. I talk a lot about, so in my book, Serve, the currency of significance, that currency, we're exchanging value. The significance is we're saying you have value, you are worth it for me to take the time today to see you. And we can do that in our own communities, just like you said, just taking the time to stop and smile at somebody or holding the door open for them. Just that small gesture, and just, yeah, being present. I love
Yes.
that you said intentional, just being intentional.
Hmm.
Um, I talk about, I have this like door framework, right? So how we remember doing it. So the D is deciding. So when did you first decide that this is something that you wanted to be part of?
Yeah, it was kind of a thing, kind of similar to your story of just being like, yeah, I'm just gonna go. And
What's the worst that could happen, right?
yeah, right. And I had always wanted to go to Africa, and it was like the
Mhm.
opportunity presented itself, and I was like, yes, I'm going.
Mhm.
And so I went on my first trip to Uganda in August of 2023.
Mm.
And after that, I was hooked. I mean,
Yeah.
I saw for myself just the
Mhm.
impact it was, right? Of having that
Mhm.
child walk up to me with nothing, then
Mhm.
to seeing us employ people over there to learn new skills and
Yeah.
to grow their families and provide an income, to
Mm-hmm.
then just the impact it made on me personally, right? So yeah, it was that one trip that changed it all for me, and I was like, yep,
Mm-hmm.
I have to do this. This is where I'm being called to right now.
I love that. I love that you say you have to.
Yeah.
Um, we've the old parenting story, you say to your kids, you get to. So there's the heart behind get to, but then when the heart is like, I have to, I I now am morally obligated because
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
I know what one little impact can make.
Right.
Man, that's so powerful. I love that you say that.
Yeah.
So the two O's are, one is observe
Mm-hmm.
and the other one is open. So
Mm-hmm.
acting, like open the door. So observing and acting. So what did you observe that really compelled you into that I have to? And
Yeah.
then you can talk kind of about what you did when you noticed.
Yeah. The first thing that comes to my mind when you say observe was I saw the joy that the children
Mm,
had. And this story, I think, will always provoke emotion for me because it was children that didn't have much were so joyful. Their life
mm,
was so full. And it was like, there's so many people here in the States that are like, feel like they're missing things,
yeah.
and they have everything. And so
Mhm,
it was that for me, observing that firsthand was like prompted the, okay, I have to do this. Like, this is so much bigger than me. And it filled that cup in me that I was like, this is the only way it can get filled type of thing. I was like, this joy and the feeling of serving the
mhm,
kids and the interactions I had, right? And the value that they felt, but then also the value I felt, right? Like
mhm, mhm.
it was very both sided.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then doing it,
Yeah.
open the door, doing it, giving them shoes, smiling. I remember our trip to Mexico, uh, all of a sudden Kaia pulls out these marionette puppets and I was like, girl, what are you doing here? And we put together this little like puppet show in
Yeah.
Spanish.
Yeah.
So, but it was so funny. The kids, some were like,
Yeah.
what
Wait,
is
what?
happening here? And others just rolled on the floor. And I love that bringing in that laughter piece opened their hearts up to just receive the shoes and yeah, kind of break the ice in the community, build some trust. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, just doing it.
Yeah.
That was super. I
And
mean, it
doing it
wasn't
when you're
that uncomfortable.
uncomfortable.
I've
Doing
done things
it when
like
you're
that, but I was
uncomfortable.
like, what is happening here? No
Yeah.
one told me about this. And just for those listening and wanting to go, no, that doesn't happen every time.
No, no.
I don't want them not to
The
go
puppets are
because,
not involved every time. Yeah.
but playing soccer with the kids has
Yes.
been definitely a big thing. Yeah,
Yes.
some just want to sit there
Yeah.
and just know that you're there. So that's awesome. And then my R, I talk about repeat or
Mm,
recruit. Like there's so many R's we could say, like bring people with you. Serving
yeah.
is way more fun with people.
Yeah.
Um, but talk about that for a second. Either
Yeah.
repeat, do it and do it and do it. Keep going, or
Yeah.
bring people with you, or both. What do you think?
Yeah, I think, yeah, continuously do it because then it becomes a habit, right? It's second
Hmm.
nature at
Hmm.
that point for you to just, and I mean, the feeling you get from it, you can't help but repeat and repeat and repeat. And then,
Hmm.
yeah, recruiting, like we are meant to do life together. And
Hmm.
so that is also just such a neat way that you can come together with people. You just
Hmm.
meet at the airport, right? And that builds a relationship all these years later, you know?
Hmm.
And it gives you just those people in your corner that also have the same morals and values of serving and leading. And what a great group of people to be around.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that. All right. So as we wrap up,
Yeah.
what is overall one shift for our listeners that they could do today that will impact them and change that thought process, helping them take in whatever they're working on in leadership or serving? What's that one shift that you want to leave them with?
Yeah. I think shifting it from the I was trying to think of the right words, but finding the urgency
Mm,
in the shift. I think that so often we kind of excuse or, oh, we'll get to that when we get to that, or, oh, life's so
mm,
busy, right? And things come up, but it's like there is such an urgency and a need. And
mm,
so kind of prompt yourself to urgency, right? And to have urgency to lead and to serve because the
mm,
impact it makes is long lasting and
mm,
it's something that you get to have the rest of your life. And so just getting past that first little bump and
mm.
then yeah, shifting with urgency, I think.
Oh, I love that. Shifting with urgency. And you had said you're 23.
Yep.
What's the age of the oldest person that has gone on a trip with you?
I think I've had like 70
Mm-hmm.
years old.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
One
Yeah.
of the trips I went down to Mexico with, we had a gentleman who was, I think, just a little over 81, and it was his
Yep.
first trip going and helping. So,
Right.
all that to say, listeners, I don't
Yes.
think you're too young or too old. I've
No, you're
taken my
not.
children at 6 and 7, and well, even 1-year-old, I took them with me, but
Yeah.
all of them have gone to Mexico at least once or twice to help. But yeah, so it's not too late. Go do it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
So, you've heard it. Find the urgency in the
Hmm.
shift, decide,
Yeah.
go observe what you can do, go do it, and then keep doing it.
Yep. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you, Kaya.
Yes. Thanks, Lisa.